6 News. First Alert Weather Extra starts now.
Minute First Alert Weather Extra, Chief Meteorologist Wes Wyatt. We are tracking some rain. We got some pop-ups out there. This is what we talked about on the news. Could see some of these scattered areas of showers developing, and any wet weather that pops up this evening, that's going to cool things off. That's going to be a good thing. We have a risk overnight for a marginal risk for severe storms. If we get any severe storms, I can't rule out a tornado or some damaging wind gusts. We have some of the ingredients that check off the boxes. We have a rather dynamic system that's rotating across the region tonight. Negative tilt to that system. We don't see quite as much instability overnight, but temperatures still on the mild side. We had quite the warm up. Temperatures running higher than what some models suggest, and we need to keep an eye on this overnight just in case we get a strong storm. I certainly think for most areas, a lot of rain, a lot of wind as this moves in. Let's talk about it. Let's get into some of the graphics here as we go to First Alert AccuTrack radar. Again, you can see there the radar showing a lot of that wet weather starting to pop up now a little bit closer to Birmingham and over in towards Shelby County. We're seeing some of those showers and storms there across west Alabama earlier, moving in from southwest. There was a storm south of Meridian, actually had quite a bit of lightning, but that weakened, which is a good sign as it moved into Alabama. But a couple little downpours, looks like around Centerville, right there along Highway 5 between West Blockton in Centerville, and then also moving in close to Helena. A little bit of rain. Next 60 minutes, we could see some of this wet weather moving in towards Birmingham and Hoover, so watch it out there tonight, maybe a passing shower, but you get the picture here, at least over the next hour in the short term. Still a lot of breaks, nothing too significant in the immediate future, but it's late tonight. That's when the next big thing happens. We get more rain and storms back to the west moving in late this evening. The Storm Prediction Center has a marginal risk for severe weather that actually includes Birmingham and Clanton, but when you actually take a deeper dive into this outlook, you can see that the risk for tornadoes, well, it's greatest off to the west, just a slither of West Alabama here included. So right as this moves into Alabama, if we would just kind of keep a watch, I always like to say, and we're going to have John DeBlock here coming up on the show, and we talk a little bit about, being mindful of what's developing west of where you live. And if you do start to notice some of those stronger storms a county or two away, just be alert late tonight that have a plan in place in case we do get a warning. But chances are low that we'll get severe weather here. As you can see, it's a marginal risk and showing a 2% chance of a tornado within 25 miles of a given point here, anywhere from Haleyville all the way down to Linden. So that's what we're watching. I think mostly a lot of wind and rain. Now, there will be a wind advisory overnight. We could have some gusts over 30 miles per hour. That line of rain and storms arrives around midnight. Marginal severe risk, mainly west. And then tomorrow, some of this rain is actually going to be around in the morning. The system slows down overnight as it moves in. Therefore, there's going to be some wet roads early tomorrow, so plan for that early in the day. And we'll also see colder weather, some showers making a comeback here as we get into the Friday night and Saturday time frame. That's something we're going to be talking about coming up in the forecast. So a lot of changes on the way. 75 today for a lot of areas. The average, well, you got to turn that around. 57 is the average high for this time of year. But this weekend, we will see highs back in the 40s. Saturday, I just want to stress again, looks like we could see some rain. I know some of the forecast data was saying we may get all this out of here for Saturday, but I would plan for the possibility of some showers and some dreary conditions there on Saturday. Will we see any snow flurries perhaps this weekend? Well, we'll talk about that coming up right here on Weather Extra. Also, I mentioned coming up, we'll have warning coordination meteorologist from the National Weather Service office in Birmingham. What a team there. John DeBlock is going to be joining us, and we go beyond the 7-day with meteorologist Lauren Linehan as we roll on with First Alert Weather Extra.
Every storm has a story, where it came from, where it's going, and the lives impacted in between. Where our story begins is with your First Alert, warning you well ahead of time so the chapter in between isn't filled with surprises. The largest team on your side, dedicated to telling the story that starts and ends with you. This is why we First Alert.
are tracking
In times like this,
We now have a tornado warning that's active.
having a way to see and hear what's happening on your phone,
The most intense part of this storm right now is tracking towards Shelby County.
that means everything.
Okay, you need to get in your safe place now. Stay there. We will let you know when this warning expires. Stay with us.
Download the First Alert Weather app today. Stay alert. Stay with the First Alert Weather Team. Mornings, they're yours. Where you start fresh, get your body moving, and tackle a new day. Our mornings are for you. Janice, Mike, Mickey, and Toy, starting early and staying with you all morning long. With more voices speaking to you where you are. And getting to the point with more First Alert weather and traffic from the source you trust. Always on your side. This is Good Day, Alabama.
Welcome back to First Alert Weather Extra. I'm meteorologist Lauren Lenahan. It is Severe Weather Preparedness Week in Alabama. We check in with Mickey Ferguson and meteorologist Matt Daniel to learn more about today.
Hey Mickey, did you know this week is actually Severe Weather Preparedness Week?
Yeah, it says it right there.
It is, and so normally it's a little bit later, but let's just be real with the way the weather's been lately. We can get severe weather at any point.
Any time of the year,
Yeah.
and for us to be talking about this in February is pretty rare. But we've got that storm system, tonight.
That's right, and so we just want to get you ready because we're gearing up for the peak of the severe weather season. We're talking about March, April, and May, and today we're going to be talking about tornado safety.
Yes, and we get started out with tornado safety, talking about the differences between tornado watches and tornado warnings.
That's right. So what is the difference? A watch means just be on guard. We know the setup, the conditions are there. And so with the watch, if they're issued, it can last for several hours. We're talking about, span of maybe in the afternoon until the overnight hours. It can actually be a large area. It could be an entire state. It could be several states under a watch. Usually when they issue these watches, usually hours of notice. And they're noticing the environment's getting more favorable, the storms are starting to develop, they issue the watch. So in a watch phase, Mickey, it's just important to have a plan, know what to do.
That's exactly right. And then if a warning is issued, now a warning is either it's been seen on the ground by tornado spotters or there's something on radar that the meteorologists look at the National Weather Service and they indicate a tornado that could be on the ground. So you've got a shorter time period. You need to take action. You've got 20 minutes to an hour to take cover and initiate your plan. You talked about a plan during a watch. That's when you initiate that plan.
That's right. You got the plan, and if you're in that warning, that is your time to take shelter. So it's important to know what to do. What do you do in a plan? So here's one area that's always a smart place to go.
Yeah, if you can get underground, that's certainly the best bet. Get under the surface of the ground because, but not everyone has that option.
Yeah, if you don't have a basement or a tornado shelter, we also recommend going to not only the lowest floor, but the center part of your home, because you have to remember, if there's a tornado, it's going to be tossing debris everywhere, trees, parts of buildings, and they're going to go through the walls. So if you have as many walls around you, that's going to protect you. So you want to go to the center part of your home. We always tell people to wear a bike helmet or something to protect you. Maybe grab some mattresses around you, a closet.
Pillows.
Yeah. So just wanted to make sure you're in the lowest floor and the center part of your home. So those are the main two areas to seek shelter.
Okay, so take shelter. Unsafe would be mobile homes, manufactured homes, large open rooms, vehicles. Don't stay in your vehicle. Get out from underneath an overpass. You need to find a different option if that's going to be the case.
That's right, and you want to avoid windows as well, because obviously anything that goes through it's going to come right into that room. Better option, as we were saying, an interior room that's well constructed, and then the most safest place that we were just mentioning, the lowest floor, basement or tornado shelter. But as we were saying earlier, not everybody has a basement or tornado shelter, so we just got to make do with what we have. But if you live in a mobile home, and we know well in advance there could be a significant threat for severe weather, not a low-end threat that we see occasionally, but a significant threat, we definitely urge people to find another place to stay at, either a shelter somewhere, or maybe you can call up a friend who has a sturdier home.
And information is key. You want to have multiple ways of receiving information in the event of a storm headed your way. And for example, today, now is the time to charge up your mobile devices so we can still get information to you in the event that you lose power through our First Alert Weather app.
That's right. Just have a plan in place and you should be good to go. And of course, we're always here covering it. And of course, we'll be watching those storms that move in tonight.
Stay safe.
Thanks, Matt and Mickey. And though we do help you through any severe weather event and on sunny days as well, a lot of that all comes from the National Weather Service. We check in now with Warning Coordination Meteorologist John DeBlock here in Birmingham to tell us more.
Well, First Alert Chief Meteorologist back with you. Let's do it one more time. Here we go. In 3, 2. First Alert Chief Meteorologist Wes Wyatt back with you here on First Alert Weather Extra, and it is Severe Weather Preparedness Week, and I'm very happy to bring in the Warning Coordination Meteorologist with the National Weather Service office in Birmingham, our friend John DeBlock, and just John, right away, I know it's been a very busy year already for you guys.
Yeah, January we had 28 tornadoes in the state of Alabama, surpassing the record and setting us off on a record to start the year. So certainly it gets your attention. It doesn't necessarily mean that the rest of the year is going to be that way, but it certainly heightens our awareness and gets our attention and points us to that peak season that's coming up this spring, which is what we're getting prepared for this week and why we're highlighting severe weather awareness this week.
Yeah, and you know, I mentioned the other night, I said, well, we've already had so many severe weather events. It's not like we haven't been preparing for some events here over the past several weeks, but there's a lot of lessons in the past few weeks in that it's not only the spring, not only the fall, it's a year-round thing, right, here in Alabama.
It sure is. You know, you can really kind of break it up. I think if we go from like Veterans Day to Mother's Day, that whole 6-7 month window from November through May, I think more and more I'm beginning to think of that as our tornado season. And then within that season, we have two peaks. We have that mid-November to mid-December peak, and then we have that March, April, May peak that we look at. So, you know, that it is a long season. We live in Alabama. It really should be no surprise when severe weather approaches, but it's amazing how quickly we can kind of drop our guard and, you know, we go 3-4 weeks without severe weather, maybe a month or two, and it's almost like we forget what we're expected to do. So it's very important for us to heighten that awareness at this time of the year especially. We know it's coming. We just look off to our west tonight, there's that enhanced risk for severe weather, slight risk, right up to the state line. So, you know, it's that time of the year when we can expect to see more opportunities for severe weather typically. So it's the time when we've got to be at our A game and be ready to employ that, whatever strategy we have, at a moment's notice.
Well, John, you know me, I tell everybody, you're the best at what you do, and so are all the members there at the National Weather Service. What a team that we have here in Birmingham. And, you know, when we're in here on TV, I know it's kind of crazy, we're in the moment, but you guys do such a good job communicating with us, and you know, we try to do what we can to relay the information you guys provide to the public with our chats and with all the social media feeds out there. But the social media, all these different avenues of communication, it does kind of pose a new challenge that we face, I think, as meteorologists. You know, how do you guys kind of deal with the communication? Because some days, you know, it's a moderate risk, some days it's a marginal risk, but trying to put these severe weather threats into context for people.
It takes an entire staff, as you know. We've got folks that are more prone to be the folks that sit behind the radar and are issuing the watches and warnings and all those products. We've got other folks that feel more comfortable doing that communication side of the house. My role typically in a kind of a moderate to significant event would be something where I'm kind of in the middle of it all. I'm kind of trying to relay what I'm hearing from my radar operators and from our communicators and getting that out into the chat that we share with our media partners so that you can amplify the message and bring it to your viewers and get information out to them that might save their life.
Well, I know there's so many concerns when we see, like tonight, we have this marginal risk for severe weather, slight risk back to the west, and immediately we start thinking about some of the past events. We think about Selma here recently. We think about tornadoes like that. What would you say to folks as you know, from your perspective, as we look at an event like what we're dealing with tonight, like a marginal slight risk for severe weather?
It's real easy to downplay it. That's that marginal. It sounds like it's, you know, not a big deal, right? But if that tornado, if we get one tornado tonight and it hits your house, it's going to be the most significant event that you've had in quite some time. So, you know, I hate to tell people that you have to be ready for everything from that low end risk, a 1 in 10 or a 1 out of 5 to a, you know, a 4 out of 5. But you've got to be really just as ready tonight as you would be for a higher risk night. So what does that mean tonight? Well, you know, you've got a lower chance of seeing a long track or a significant tornado, but you still have that possibility of seeing an EF0, an EF1 tornado here or there. It might not be in your neighborhood. It might be in somebody else's neighborhood, but you've got to be ready for that. So, you know, I don't want to put fear into everybody, but you need to be following the weather when we have that risk out there. Whether it's a marginal, slight, enhanced, moderate, or high risk, you've got to be tracking the weather to know how on guard you have to be at a given moment. When it's coming across central Mississippi, I'm going to keep going about what I'm doing and kind of seeing, well, let's see, it's going to take a couple hours. So in a couple hours, I'll check back with the weather. And then when I'm seeing it come across the state line, for those of us that are here in central Alabama, I'm going to raise my guard a little bit more. It hits Tuscaloosa area. It's 2 counties away, 1 or 2 counties away. That's when I need to, okay, put everything aside, make sure I'm available, my kit and my safe place are good to go. I've got my flashlight standing by. I've got my phone, everything that I need to get information to get myself to my safe place, regardless. And that's regardless whether it's that marginal risk all the way up to that high risk. That's kind of my strategy on how I view it, and I hope to convey that to other folks as well.
So such a key message there, John. I think back to Fultondale night, marginal risk, and also you have that if it hits a populated zone versus out in the middle of nowhere where you have no homes. That's another way to look at it as well. You know, it's such a challenge, and you need to be ready every time because it could be that monumental event for that one place that's impacted. And remember those takeaways too. You know, we're just now getting into we haven't even really got into that peak spring season yet, so that's coming up. So it's important to be prepared there. I wanted to also jump back at messaging for a bit there, John, and talk about, you know, for folks that may see a post on social media. I know you guys do a really good job as well of saying, hey, this is old information. Make sure you are getting the latest information.
Yeah, that's one of the issues that we have with social media, the algorithms that the media has out there. You never know if that post that you put out right now is going to be seen by everybody now, 6 hours from now, or maybe even tomorrow. So it's very important to have yourself connected to a live source of information, such as you all there at WBRC. Whatever, you know, now from my perspective, I want you to, whatever you feel most comfortable, whoever is your favorite meteorologist, I want you watching them because they're going to be the word that we get. You know, they're our conduit that we get information through our partners to you, the viewers out there. So, of course, you're watching WBRC right now. Stick with WBRC so that you can get that latest information from Wes and his crew. It's vital to have that live source of information. Have multiple ways of getting those alerts. Those alerts, they're going to interrupt your phone with the wireless emergency alerts, your emergency, your EAS tones that will come across your television or your radio if you're watching there. And hopefully you've got an app. You've got a subscription to an app that's going to give you an instant message or an alert on your device to get your attention. But that social media, it's great to follow. beware there could be delays in the social media.
Yeah, and John, so much great information. I know we're getting a little short on time here, and I definitely want to have you back. But before we wrap up, I've had some folks reaching out asking about Skywarn and becoming a storm spotter. I know you have an updated schedule of where, when, and where you guys will be doing training, but just educate us a little bit on the Skywarn program.
Well, our radar has limitations. We don't see what's happening on the ground. We see what's happening several hundred feet to several thousand feet above the ground. When you get out to 60 to 70 miles away from a radar, that radar beam is about 6,000 to 7,000 feet above the ground. So we can't see what's happening on the ground. We count on those storm spotters to tell us that ground truth, the boots on the ground, eyeballs at the ground level, to tell us what's happening in their areas. That information, we try to, of course, with the training, we try to help you learn the difference between a shelf cloud and a wall cloud, very important. How to identify rotation, other information on what we need reported and how to report it. Skywarn training, it might save the life of your friends or neighbors. So if you see severe weather, let us know what's happening. We incorporate that into our warning process here. We get the information out, and together we can save lives.
And to me, John, it seems like that training, which it follows the basic principles, and you guys cover the different types of storms. It's an incredible program. If you have a chance, you want to become a storm spotter, you need to check in with John and the team in the National Weather Service. I remember years ago, the first storm spotter course, Brian Peters was giving the instruction. It was in Carrollton, and I drove over. I was at Mississippi State at the time, and I believe the last time I was at an event, we were programming weather radios, and you gave a presentation, and I just picked up, there's a lot of things you pick up on every time. It seems like there's something new you add, and it's such a valuable program. But John, I can't thank you enough. I know it's a busy day. You guys are watching this weather system moving in tonight, but we will certainly be in close communication with you guys tonight, and let's do this again.
Absolutely.
All right, thank you.
Are you noticing mold or discoloration in your shower? Or maybe you just want to replace that old bathtub with something more modern and luxurious? Well, either way, we've got you covered. Hey everybody, I'm joined by BJ Worzen, owner of West Shore Home, to talk a little shower and bath remodeling and how West Shore is making the entire process from start to finish fast and easy. BJ.
Thanks, Joe. At West Shore Home, we understand the headaches and stress a remodeling project can cause. That's why everything that we do is designed to make it stress-free for our customers.
A lot of people don't think of remodeling as stress-free, especially bath remodeling. So how are you making a complicated process easier?
Everything in our process can be done from the comfort of your own home. Give us a call and we'll send one of our bath experts out that has a time that's most convenient for you. And when it comes time for that installation, we're going to send one of our employee installers out and complete that project in as little as 1 day.
So no running out to big box stores and comparing samples and colors and then maybe waiting months for the installation. You're saying this is an all-inclusive process, making it really fast and easy for customers. That's great. Now, BJ, I understand you have a flash sale going on right now. Tell us about that.
That's right, Joe. Right now, anyone that gives us a call, we're going to do free installation on all shower and bath remodeling projects. On top of that, we're going to be doing 12 months, no interest, no payment financing. That means you can get that bath project done right now and not have to make any payments or pay any interest until 2024.
Free installation, that's a great offer. Well, let's see some projects you've done recently.
Absolutely, let's take a look. Here, we were able to completely remove an outdated shower and bath and install something that matched the rest of their bathroom. That low step feature is going to make getting in and out of that shower really easy. And the sleek matte black hardware looks amazing. Here's a few more. All of these were installed in 1 day, and just a reminder, for a limited time, anyone that calls will get free installation on their shower and bath project.
BJ, thanks so much. Folks, call West Shore Home now for this limited time offer. It's free installation on all shower and bath projects. Plus, for limited time, BJ is doing 12 months of no payments and no interest financing. Get your shower project now, and don't worry about making a single payment until 2024. Call West Shore Home now.
Welcome back to First Alert Weather Extra. I'm meteorologist Lauren Linehan, taking us on a journey beyond the 7 days. So it does look like 6 to 10 days from now, a good portion of the U.S. And yes, that does include a little old Alabama, still going to be seeing the potential for above average rainfall. So we'll see if February ends up having a surplus of rainfall like January did. As we look at our future cast here we are the day after Valentine's Day, Wednesday the 15th, showing the potential. First of all, we've been talking about the possibility of rain on Valentine's Day. It doesn't look like a washout yet, but may see a brief reprieve on next Wednesday, before another system comes in next Thursday. Now, this is one we want to give you a first alert for. There may be a little bit more storm fuel available to help to bring some more robust storms. So we're keeping an eye on next Thursday as that storm system moves through. Should be moving any rain out late in the day on Friday, and then as we go into that following weekend, seeing a cool down in the forecast. Now, we're going to watch, of course, if we do get those colder temperatures in here, if we have any moisture around, could we see any transition to a wintry mix? Just doesn't look all that promising at this time. Here we are next Sunday, the 19th, showing us dry and chilly again. And then the following Monday, seeing some rain down to our south and east, maybe a disturbance moving through that could bring some clouds into next Tuesday. But other than that, it looks like really the next system we're going to be tracking once we get past this one, and the weekend system is going to be that one next Thursday. Now, as far as temperatures, the eastern half of the U.S. still going to be seeing the potential for above average temperatures over the next 6 to 10 days. So as we look at those future temperatures going into next week, I think we could see upper 60s again, if not maybe getting close to 70 degrees as that next storm system comes in by next Thursday, and then another weekend cool down before looking more seasonable for the following week of February. As far as those low temperatures, because we want to know, could we see anything in the way of a frost or freeze threat? Well, we have mentioned it's going to get cooler this weekend, but as we look beyond the 7-day, it looks like potentially going into next weekend as well, the possibility for another freeze threat. But in the meantime, still pretty warm outside tonight. We'll take a final look at that super 7-day forecast coming up.
Every storm has a story, where it came from, where it's going, and the lives impacted in between. Where our story begins is with your first alert, warning you well ahead of time so the chapter in between isn't filled with surprises. The largest team on your side, dedicated to telling the story that starts and ends with you. This is why we First Alert.
First alert, we are tracking
In times like this,
we now have a tornado warning that's active.
having a way to see and hear what's happening on your phone,
The most intense part of this storm right now is tracking towards Shelby County.
that means everything.
Okay, you need to get in your safe place now. Stay there. We will let you know when this warning expires. Stay with us.
Download the First Alert Weather app today. Stay alert. Stay with the First Alert Weather Team. Mornings, they're yours. Where you start fresh, get your body moving, and tackle a new day. Our mornings are for you. Janice, Mike, Mickey, and Toy, starting early and staying with you all morning long. With more voices speaking to you where you are, and getting to the point with more First Alert weather and traffic from the source you trust. Always on your side. This is Good Day, Alabama.
Welcome back to First Alert Weather Extra. I'm meteorologist Lauren Lenahan, getting one last look at that super 7-day forecast. Obviously tracking some rain coming into tonight. The severe threat is very low, but we can't rule out an isolated strong to severe storm, especially across West Alabama. Regardless, this system that's coming in is going to be having some gusty winds with it. That wind advisory in effect through 9 a.m. tomorrow. And temperatures tomorrow will fall a little bit into the afternoon, likely going from the 60s early on in the day to the 50s, and then rain gradually dissipating into the afternoon hours. As far as Friday, we do have a 20% chance of some isolated showers, areas south and east closer to that I-85 corridor. And then unfortunately, Saturday has been trending colder and wetter. So we've got some showers back in the forecast. Now Sunday for Super Bowl Sunday, looking sunnier, still going to be cool. So have that sweater on for game time. And then we'll track our next chance of rain going into Tuesday on Valentine's Day. But you can check in with Chief Meteorologist Wes Wyatt For an update on any rain and storms around tonight, we'll be tracking them. I'm meteorologist Lauren Linehan. Join us tomorrow night here on Weather Extra at 6:30 and have a safe and happy Wednesday evening.